Life, in its quiet wisdom, often tests us, not through storms or chaos, but through our own relentless need to control. We grasp tightly at moments, trying to shape the future, manage every outcome, and predict how others will respond. We convince ourselves that if we plan every step, push a little harder, and never loosen our grip, everything will eventually fall into place. But in truth, the more we resist the natural flow of life, the more frustrated and exhausted we become. Peace slips away, not because the world is unkind, but because we are at war with its rhythm. In the teachings of the Buddha, there is a gentle truth. The more we cling, the more we suffer. What if success wasn't hidden in striving, but in surrendering? Not as a sign of weakness, but as a deep trust in something greater than ourselves. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the illusion that we must control everything to be safe or happy. When we surrender the need to know, to force, to rush, we step into the mystery of life, and in that space, we begin to feel its quiet guidance. Today, we begin a journey inward, a journey into the art of letting go. And perhaps, through that gentle release, we'll discover that everything we've been chasing is already on its way, drawn not by force, but by stillness, by trust, by peace. Lesson 1. Your energy is the message the universe understands. In the stillness of Buddhist wisdom, we learn that the universe doesn't respond to noise. It responds to the quiet energy we carry within. This energy, often called our vibration, is more than just a feeling. It's the frequency of our thoughts, our emotions, and the beliefs we silently hold. Every moment, we are sending out a signal, not through words, but through the way we exist in the world. When your energy is rooted in peace, gratitude, and trust, life begins to reflect that inner harmony. You start to notice small shifts, gentle alignments, unexpected opportunities, and encounters that seem perfectly timed. This isn't luck. It's the natural rhythm of the universe responding to the energy you're offering. You become a magnet, not because you chase, but because you're aligned. But when fear takes over, when the heart is filled with anxiety and the mind clings to control, the vibration becomes scattered. Desperation is a loud cry, but it sends the wrong signal. It tells the universe that something is missing, that you are not whole, that you are lacking. And so, life reflects back that emptiness, not to punish, but to show you where your energy needs to heal. It's easy to believe that effort and constant action will bring us what we want. But from a deeper view, effort without inner peace is like running in circles. You may be moving, but you're not arriving. The more we force life, the more life resists. The more we trust it, the more it flows. So instead of chasing, pause. Ask yourself, what am I broadcasting into the world? Is it fear, or is it trust? The universe doesn't respond to how badly you want something. It responds to how aligned you are with it. When your inner world begins to feel like the life you desire, the outer world gently begins to match it. This is not about doing nothing. It's about doing less from fear and more from clarity. When you stop sending out the frequency of desperation and begin to live with calm confidence, life meets you in unexpected and beautiful ways. Lesson 2. Let go or be held back. There's a quiet paradox in life, one that Buddhist teachings have long pointed to. The more we try to control, the more we get in our own way. It's natural to want things to go a certain way. We make plans, set expectations, and cling to timelines, hoping to steer life with precision. But this desire to control, while born from fear and the need for safety, often becomes the very thing that blocks the flow of what we seek. Picture your hand grasping tightly around water. The harder you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. Life is much the same. When you grip too tightly on outcomes, people, or the future, you create tension, both inside yourself and within the very energy that surrounds you. That tension doesn't create progress. It creates resistance. And that resistance pushes away the peace, clarity, and abundance that you're trying so hard to invite in. Letting go doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent. It means you move with intention, but without attachment. You do what you can with care and presence, and then you release the outcome. You act, but you don't force. You plant seeds, but you don't pull them out of the soil to check if they're growing. This is the path of surrender, not weakness, but wisdom. Control isn't just about your outer world. It also lives in your inner world. When you constantly try to micromanage your thoughts or emotions, reacting from fear or judgment, you create a storm inside. But when you soften, when you allow your thoughts to pass like clouds and your emotions to rise and fall like waves, you begin to find space within. And that space is where transformation happens. Letting go is not the end of ambition. It is the beginning of alignment. You still hold your vision, but you stop clinging to it. You trust that if something is meant for you, it will come. Not because you chased it, but because you became the kind of person it naturally flows to. In that openness, the universe can finally do its part. And often, it delivers not just what you wanted, but something even greater than you imagined. Lesson 3. The wisdom found in quiet spaces. In a world that never stops speaking, silence has become a forgotten language. Our lives are filled with noise, notifications buzzing, voices rising, thoughts racing like wind through a restless forest. Yet within the Buddhist path, we are reminded that the deepest truths are not found in sound. They are discovered in stillness. Silence is not just the absence of words or noise. It is the sacred space where clarity begins to breathe. When we allow the world to quiet and the mind to soften, something miraculous happens. We begin to hear what was always present, the subtle voice of intuition, the soft guidance of the universe, the wisdom that lives beneath all thought. Think of your mind as a lake. When the surface is calm, you can see the depths clearly. But when stirred by endless motion, all becomes murky. The same is true within us. When we live in constant noise, we cannot see what truly matters. Silence is not emptiness. It is fullness without distraction. In a world where everyone is trying to be heard, silence becomes a form of power. It is the strength of choosing not to react, the confidence of holding space rather than filling it, the wisdom of letting life speak before you do. This kind of silence is not passive. It is intentional, peaceful, and alive. You don't need to join the noise to be seen. You don't have to speak the loudest to be heard by the universe. In fact, when you retreat into silence, within your thoughts, your actions, your reactions, you begin to align with the natural rhythm of things. You stop resisting. You stop chasing. And in that quiet surrender, the answers you've been seeking begin to arrive, not with a bang, but with a whisper. Silence is how the universe speaks. It's how truth reveals itself, not in chaos, but in calm. When we stop trying to force clarity and instead rest in stillness, we create space for insight to find us. That space becomes our guide, our compass, our connection to something far greater than ourselves. So take time to be still. Let your silence be a sanctuary, not just from the world, but from the noise within. Because in that quiet, you will find what words can never say: your strength, your direction, your peace. Lesson 4. Flowing with time, not against it. In a world addicted to immediacy, patience feels like a forgotten virtue. We've been taught to chase, to hurry, to expect everything now. Success, love, clarity, fulfillment. But within the heart of Buddhist wisdom lies a quiet truth. Life unfolds when it's ready, not when we demand it. Trusting the rhythm of time is not just a practice of patience, it's a radical act of faith. The universe doesn't move according to our clocks or calendars. It follows a rhythm far more ancient and intelligent, one that aligns not with urgency, but with purpose. Just because something hasn't arrived yet doesn't mean it's lost. Delay is not denial. Often, it's divine preparation. Life may be arranging circumstances, shaping you quietly, preparing the space for something far greater than your current vision can grasp. When you release your grip on timing, you begin to breathe differently. Anxiety softens. The pressure to force outcomes fades. You no longer feel the need to race ahead. You begin to walk in step with life itself. This isn't passivity, it's presence. You still act, you still move, but you do so with calm intention, not frantic desperation. Look to nature for wisdom. A tree does not bloom in winter. A river does not rush to the ocean. It flows patiently, trusting the terrain. And you too are part of that natural design. Your life will blossom when the conditions are ripe. No sooner, no later. Sometimes, what feels like a delay is actually a doorway to deeper strength, greater clarity, or necessary transformation. Those pauses, those moments of waiting, are not empty. They are sacred spaces where growth takes root. In silence, in stillness, the next chapter is quietly being written. Trusting timing doesn't mean giving up on your desires. It means you stop trying to bend the world to your will, and instead, you let the world open naturally before you. It means you stop measuring your progress by the hour and start trusting the unfolding of your path, one breath at a time. When you truly trust the timing of your life, peace returns. You stop needing proof. You stop rushing the miracle, because you know that what is meant for you cannot miss you. And when it's time, it will arrive with a grace that no amount of effort could ever force into being. Lesson 5. You receive what you believe you're worthy of. One of the most transformative teachings in Buddhist philosophy is this: your outer life is shaped by your inner belief. The universe, like a mirror, does not respond simply to what you want. It responds to what you believe you are worthy of receiving. Not your words, not your effort, but the energy you carry quietly within. When you begin to see yourself as someone who is worthy of peace, love, and joy, not because you've earned it, but because it is your birthright, life begins to reflect that truth. You don't have to fight for good things. You don't have to chase validation. You simply start living as though you belong in the space you once felt unworthy of, and the universe meets you there. But if deep down you carry a belief that you are undeserving of success, of calm, of connection, then no matter how hard you try, that internal script will quietly sabotage your path. You may miss opportunities, hesitate when you should move, or settle for less than you truly desire. The universe isn't punishing you. It's simply echoing the belief you're holding as your reality. To attract what you seek, you must first believe that you are ready for it. You must allow yourself to release the shame, the doubt, the stories of not enough. These are illusions created by fear. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that all suffering arises from attachment, and often we are most attached to the negative beliefs we hold about ourselves. But you are not those thoughts. You are not your past. You are the awareness behind it all, the open sky, not the passing storm. The more you see yourself as someone worthy of love, of peace, of meaningful experiences, the more you begin to act in alignment with that vision. You stop shrinking, you stop sabotaging, you start showing up. And the universe begins to open doors not because you forced them, but because you were finally standing in front of them with open hands. This shift is subtle but powerful. You don't demand the world to give. You allow it to give because you are no longer in resistance. And in that soft surrender, you begin to receive. So if you've been wondering why life feels stuck, look within. Ask yourself, what do I believe I deserve? Then begin to gently rewrite that belief with truth and compassion. Because what you believe, you become. And what you become, you attract. The universe is always listening, not to your noise, but to your energy. When you begin to trust your own worth, life begins to respond in kind. And what once felt out of reach slowly starts to arrive, not as a miracle, but as a reflection of who you finally remembered yourself to be. Lesson 6. Calmness, the hidden key to receiving. In a culture that glorifies speed, ambition, and constant motion, calmness often seems like a luxury, or worse, a weakness. But within Buddhist teachings, calmness is not an escape from life. It is a way of being fully alive. It is not the absence of action, but the presence of clear, unwavering awareness. And perhaps most surprisingly, it is one of the most powerful ways to manifest the life you desire. Calmness isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing the right things from a grounded, peaceful state. When your energy is still, like a quiet lake, you begin to reflect life as it truly is, without distortion. You no longer send out signals of desperation, fear, or urgency. Instead, your energy becomes a silent invitation to the universe, signaling that you are ready to receive with trust and grace. In this state of inner stillness, the noise of doubt fades. The rush to control outcomes dissolves. And in that space, the universe begins to flow toward you, not with chaos, but with clarity. When you're calm, you stop pushing against life. You stop swimming upstream. You align with the current, allowing opportunities, people, and experiences to come not through force, but through flow. This is the subtle power of calmness. It creates room for life to move in your favor. Calmness isn't passivity, it's alignment. You take action, but it's not frantic. You set intentions, but you're not clinging to outcomes. You become both present and open, unattached, yet deeply trusting. And the results? They speak in quiet miracles. A message arrives at just the right time. A door opens without effort. The answer you've been seeking reveals itself not through struggle, but through stillness. Calmness also offers something most people never experience: detachment from the timing of your desires. When you are truly calm, you stop measuring life by deadlines. You stop demanding that things arrive on your schedule. Instead, you begin to live in rhythm with something wiser, something far more generous than your own expectations. From this place of surrender, you attract what is truly meant for you. You no longer chase what isn't yours. You no longer sabotage what is. You become the version of yourself that can hold peace, love, abundance. Not just wish for them, but embody them. Calmness is not just a feeling. It is a state of being that tells the universe, I am ready. It is the soil in which your intentions take root. It is the quiet confidence that your path is unfolding, even if you cannot yet see around the bend. The more you live in calm alignment, the more powerfully you manifest, not through effort, but through presence. And in that presence, life begins to deliver what you've been asking for, not because you pushed harder, but because you finally stopped resisting. Lesson 7: Letting Go, the doorway to the unseen. In a world driven by ambition and noise, we are often told that the only way forward is through control, through pushing, planning, and forcing outcomes into place. But Buddhist wisdom gently reminds us of a quieter truth. What you let go of often returns in greater form. What you release creates space for the miraculous. Letting go isn't surrendering your dreams. It's surrendering the weight of needing them to unfold your way, on your timeline. It's a sacred act of trust, the moment you stop gripping so tightly that your hands forget how to receive. We live in resistance when we're too attached to how life should be. And in that resistance, we unknowingly block the very blessings that are trying to reach us. When you let go, you're not giving up. You're stepping aside. You're allowing a greater intelligence, the rhythm of the universe, to guide the unfolding. It's a choice to stop micromanaging every step and instead walk with presence, knowing that life often delivers its gifts in unexpected packaging. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't tug on it to make it grow. You place it gently in the soil, water it, trust the sunlight, and wait. You do your part, but you don't control the outcome. The same is true with your dreams. Tend to them, nurture them, but release the need to force their bloom. Letting go also means releasing fear. The fear of losing, the fear of not being enough, the fear that life won't unfold the way you hoped. And in that release, you open to the greater truth. that life often gives you more than you imagined, just not in the form you expected. When you stop trying to predict, to hold, to chase, you create space. And in that space, the universe moves, not with noise, but with quiet grace. The miracle is often not in the thing you wanted, but in who you become by learning to wait, to trust, to soften. Letting go is a kind of spiritual faith. It says, even if I cannot see what's ahead, I trust that it is good. And in that trust, the unexpected arrives. A moment of clarity, a chance meeting, an opening you didn't plan for, but one that feels just right. This is how the universe works. It responds not to control, but to openness. And the more you let go of how things must be, the more room you create for life to surprise you with how beautiful they can be. So loosen your grip, soften your heart, take the next step with peace. The more you let go, the more you'll find that what's truly meant for you doesn't need to be forced. It flows toward you with grace. Conclusion. You don't need to chase what's already making its way to you. The peace you seek, the love you long for, the success you imagine, they're not found in force. They unfold when you quiet the noise, loosen your grip, and begin to trust the rhythm of your own becoming. Buddhism reminds us, the path is not built by striving, but by surrender. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are right where you're meant to be, growing in unseen ways, guided by forces greater than you can comprehend. So let go. Breathe deeper. Walk slower. Trust more. And watch how life meets you, not in your fight, but in your stillness. If this message spoke to your soul, you're not alone. This space is for you, for all seekers, wanderers, and quiet warriors walking the inner path. Subscribe, and let's walk this journey together. One breath, one truth, one moment at a time. Because the moment you stop forcing is the moment everything begins to flow.